Ever noticed how, even with great pics and a polished profile, a plain old hey can totally sabotage your chances? It sounds polite, but in reality, it dumps you right into the just another guy pile. And worse, it kills her interest before you even start. The counterintuitive truth is women aren't ghosting you because they're too busy. They're ghosting because that first message lands with zero impact. In this video, stop saying hey -7 openers. That get real replies. You'll see how to swap that generic hey for openers that spark instant curiosity. Trigger emotion and get real replies, starting with your next chat. Topic 1. Why your first message is a game changer right out of the gate. That first line sets the tone for everything that follows. Think of it like the opening chord in a song. It's your invitation for her to stop scrolling and actually tune in. A good opener acts like an emotional business card, grabbing attention in a sea of notifications. On dating apps where everything moves fast, that first hit can be the difference between being remembered or ignored. When the mentor looks at guys who complain about no replies or no topics, he spots the same pattern: bland. Copy-paste messages that don't make her feel anything. He compares it to a movie trailer. If the trailer's boring, no one buys a ticket, even if the movie's great. That's why he says your first message has to be like a memorable scene, something that creates curiosity and emotion at once. Hey might feel safe, but it sells no story. He also talks about the avalanche effect. A creative first message dose and tea just boosts your odds of getting a reply. It also sets up the whole vibe of the chat. Suddenly, she feels like she's stepping into a different kind of story instead of another rinse and repeat conversation. Next up, he's going to break down the classic mistakes that quietly kill your chances before you even get started. Topic 2. The common mistakes that wreck your chances. Early. He has analyzed hundreds of chats from students and friends and sees the same train wreck over and over. The deadliest. The job interview opener, that predictable, hey, how are you? Where do you live? What do you do? It feels harmless, but it turns the moment into a cold interrogation. To dodge this, he says swap generic questions for creative observations about something in her profile. It's like swapping a dim bulb for a spotlight. Attention flips instantly. Another killer is going sexually explicit right out of the gate. Some think being that direct shows boldness, but really it trips her defense system. Attraction is built, not demanded. Same goes for over-the-top flattery. You're perfect. I've never seen anyone like you, which makes you look low value, not genuinely interested. Smart compliments are like chess, not bingo. Every move at the right time. And then the needy sprinter. The guy who begs for attention or pushes for a date before there's any spark. He calls it like inviting someone to the couch, before they've even walked into the living room. Rushing pushes people away. He hints there are subtle ways to gauge interest and even line up a quick invite, but only after you've climbed a few steps first. In the next topic, he maps out those steps, the 3 pillars of an irresistible opener. Topic 3. The 3 pillars of an irresistible opener. The mentor says a killer opener is like baking. Flour alone doesn't cut it. Sugar alone doesn't either. It's the mix that matters. Pillar 1. Be different. If 90% of guys lead with hey, the one who breaks the mold is already ahead. He tells of a student who saw a photo of a girl with a hot dog and wrote, "Finally found someone who can teach me to pick the best street cart." She cracked up and replied immediately. No one had sent anything like that before. Pillar 2. Create emotion. A neutral message leaves no mark, but humor, playful teasing, or a dash of intrigue hit the senses. He compares it to an unexpected gift. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it has to mean something. Ask yourself, what in this first line could make her feel something? Laugh, wonder, picture it. That alone shifts the impact. Pillar 3. Personalize. A line that fits anyone creates no real connection. A message that pulls from her profile makes her think, wow, that's for me. He teaches how to scan for subtle details. Job, hobbies, quirky captions, photos, and build something unique. In the next topic, he reveals which emotions work best in practice to grab attention and keep the chat alive. Topic 4. Using humor and curiosity as secret weapons. Emotion is the real currency of a first message. Without it, your chat's in black and white, like a movie with no soundtrack. Humor is one of the strongest triggers, because it makes the other person relax and drop their guard. He loves to tell about a student who saw a coffee addict in a girl's profile and wrote, "Guess I'll need a helmet for our first espresso together." She replied with laughing emojis, and the convo took off. Curiosity works like a magic pre-opener. It's that line that makes her think I have to know what comes next. He's used messages like, "You're gonna hate me for this," or "Did you know what they say about women in red hats?" without revealing the punchline right away. He creates a mini mystery that gives him space for the next move. That good kind of anxiety keeps her hooked and wanting more. The secret is blending humor and curiosity without looking like you're trying too hard. You're not auditioning as a stand-up or a thriller writer. Just sprinkle it strategically. Little teases, oddball questions, funny observations. All of it triggers positive emotions. In the next topic, he's laying out the most powerful triggers to turn those emotions into actual replies. Topic 5. The 10 power triggers for opening conversations. He says, just like musicians use scales to improvise, you need triggers to avoid hey purgatory. There are about 9 or 10 master keys that work in nearly any situation. I'm the prize showing value playfully. Funny tease, presupposition, talking like the date's already a done deal. Social intelligence, showing you know what all the other guys say and dodging it. Playful mistake, fun compliment, personalized question, and curiosity. He backs each with real examples. For a nutritionist, instead of asking for a diet like everyone else, a student sent, "Please tell me you re not gone? Nah, build a meal plan for our first date." She laughed and replied right away. Another saw a huge Red Hot Chili Peppers fan and used a fun compliment. Smiling brunette, red hot lover. If you also make stroganoff, delete Tinder because nobody else stands a chance. In a few strokes, the chat jumped from generic to memorable. He reminds beginners it's normal to check the list until it becomes second nature. Over time, creativity flows automatically. The key is training yourself to look at her profile and ask, which trigger fits here? Next, he's showing how to use that investigative eye to personalize messages so unique nobody else could copy them. Topic 6. How to personalize using her profile. He compares this step to a detective finding hidden clues. Every detail, photos, captions, hobbies, job, is a map for building a one-of-a-kind opener. Spending a few minutes scanning those details is an investment that pays off in attention. A piercing, a favorite team, a funny quote, or even a grocery list can become the hook for a message no one else could send. He recalls a student who noticed a girl holding an ice cream cup in multiple photos. Instead of "How's your day?" he wrote, "So glad I finally found someone who can pick the perfect flavor for our next ice cream." She replied, laughing, and the chat instantly felt different. That kind of personalization shows effort and makes her feel she's not just another profile swipe. Someone actually looked. Personalization is pillar 3 in action, and it multiplies the effect of being different and creating emotion. It's what turns a random line into an irresistible invitation. Next, he shows how, after a strong start, you can steer the conversation toward a real-life meetup without looking needy or pushy. Topic 7. From opener to real-life date. Guiding the conversation. He teaches that a strong opener isn't just for getting a reply. It's about building a path. Each well-crafted first line lays the groundwork for a future invite. Compares it to climbing steps. Grab attention, build connection, spark interest, then make the invite feel like the natural next move, not a leap into the dark, but a path that feels obvious to both of you. One student used a playful presupposition, "You're going to smile like that on our first coffee too, right?" She answered, "I think so." The invite was already implied. He just kept the chat light, adding humor and personal touches, until she started suggesting dates herself. That's the kind of subtle steering that makes a meetup feel like her idea, not pressure. The secret is to keep the vibe of someone with options and a life of his own. An invite made at the right moment feels like a treat, not a demand. From here, the viewer can use everything learned to turn chats into real-life dates naturally. And with all pillars revealed, the mentor now sets up a closing message to fire up action and engagement. Conclusion. Now that you know the 7 openers that can flip a boring hey into real replies, what are you going to do with it? Keep sending the same generic lines or stand out by creating real connections. Picture how many chats could turn into actual dates. If you used just one of these triggers today, which one are you trying first? Humor, curiosity, or personalization? If you want to keep learning how to communicate irresistibly and master this game, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. New video is another chance to level up your conversations.